What if the stories we've been told about black women on screen are not just painful but a carefully crafted trap? Taraji P. Henson just dropped some shocking truths about Tyler Perry, the man behind those roles, and the truth is sparking a fierce debate online. Is Perry really honoring black women, or is he trapping them in endless trauma? And why is Taraji still standing by him, even as serious allegations and voices of protest rise all around? Stay with me, because what you're about to hear will change how you see Hollywood's biggest storyteller and maybe even the stories we tell ourselves.
It's going to tell Tyler Perry that black women are no longer suffering.
I'm grateful for this person for showing me how not to be.
Yeah. You know, Tyler Perry didn't just pull this out of the sky. These women exist, these people exist, and they need to see themselves.
Taraji P. Henson just stirred the pot with some bold revelations about Tyler Perry. And the internet, especially black women, is paying close attention. People are questioning why the man known for creating Medea seems fixated on depicting black women at their worst, traumatized, betrayed, abused, and broken down only to be saved by a struggling man with barely anything to offer. The troubling pattern runs deep, and even Taraji admits these roles take an emotional toll on her. Still, she continues to support Tyler, leaving many wondering why she stands by a filmmaker whose stories often feel like emotional horror shows for black women. As one critic bluntly stated, Tyler Perry hates black women, and they did not soften the blow because the pattern is visible in every project. From Diary of a Mad Black Woman to Acrimony, and now his latest film, Straw. But this time, fans are not letting it slide. After watching the Straw trailer, many viewers are openly saying enough is enough.
Tyler Perry hates black women, and I'm not saying allegedly because the proof is in the pudding.
Taraji P. Henson is still standing by Tyler Perry, and her latest comments are only deepening the confusion among many black women who are left asking, what is she doing? Let's unpack why Tyler Perry seems fixated on black women's pain, and why Taraji continues to defend him. For years, Perry has been celebrated as the ultimate rags-to-riches success story in Hollywood, a man who rose from struggle to wealth and influence, painting himself as a symbol of black resilience in his documentary-style film Maxine's Baby. But beneath the Medea wigs and emotional gospel endings, there appears to be a disturbing pattern, stories that revolve around black/women enduring trauma after trauma. One critic did not hold back, saying that Perry's vision of black women is limited to overworked, emotionally broken victims of abuse, always waiting to be saved by a humble, working-class black man. The formula is so repetitive that when the trailer for Straw dropped featuring Taraji as a single mother on the brink, many black women immediately rolled their eyes, already knowing where the story was heading. Within the first half hour of Straw, Taraji P. Henson's character endures a storm of devastating events. She gets evicted, loses her job, has her child taken away by child services, her car is towed, she's robbed at work, ends up killing her boss, and eventually turns to robbing a bank. It plays out like a chaotic checklist of tragedy, and for many viewers, it felt more like a parody of hardship than a thoughtful narrative. Instead of praising the writing, women quickly turned their attention to something deeper: Tyler Perry's perspective on black women. Online discussions lit up, with many questioning if Perry truly understands or even respects black women at all. One viewer put it bluntly, "I cannot tell if Tyler Perry dislikes black women, is indifferent to their reality, or just assumes he knows them better than they know themselves." The frustration is growing louder with each project, as audiences grow tired of watching exaggerated suffering used as entertainment. More and more voices are echoing the same sentiment. Something about Perry's portrayal of black women just does not sit right anymore. Within the first half hour of Straw, Taraji P. Henson's character endures a storm of devastating events. She gets evicted, loses her job, has her child taken away by child services, her car is towed, she's robbed at work, ends up killing her boss, and eventually turns to robbing a bank. It plays out like a chaotic checklist of tragedy, and for many viewers, it felt more like a parody of hardship than a thoughtful narrative. Instead of praising the writing, women quickly turned their attention to something deeper: Tyler Perry's perspective on black women. Online discussions lit up, with many questioning if Perry truly understands or even respects black women at all. One viewer put it bluntly, "I cannot tell if Tyler Perry dislikes black women, is indifferent to their reality, or just assumes he knows them better than they know themselves." The frustration is growing louder with each project, as audiences grow tired of watching exaggerated suffering used as entertainment. More and more voices are echoing the same sentiment. Something about Perry's portrayal of black women just does not sit right anymore. Taraji P. Henson has stood by Tyler Perry like a devoted sister defending a family member at a cookout, no matter what criticism comes his way. In her eyes, these stories hold value. During an interview on The Breakfast Club, she explained that these characters represent real people, individuals who need to feel seen, and reminded that they are not invisible in their pain. She passionately argued that the people in Perry's films actually exist, and their stories deserve to be told. Taraji even addressed the backlash, offering a deeper explanation for why so many black women feel uncomfortable with Tyler Perry's portrayals. She believes that the outrage stems from personal pain being triggered. According to her, when people tell Tyler to stop showing those women, I think it's because their own trauma is being pushed to the surface. She pointed out a larger issue within the black community, the tendency to avoid confronting emotional wounds. In her words, being forced to face those hidden scars through film can feel overwhelming. So in essence, Taraji is saying, do not aim your anger at Tyler, aim it at the culture that taught you to bury your pain. For Taraji, this is about giving a voice to the voiceless. She has always been drawn to portraying women who are silenced, overlooked, or trapped in emotional pain. As she once said herself, I'm especially connected to characters who have no voice, maybe because I'm such a big personality. I feel compelled to bring them to life, to breathe strength into them. She sees power in telling their stories, even if the roles are heavy and heartbreaking. But while Taraji continues to passionately defend the art and its deeper purpose, Tyler Perry's name is getting dragged all over social media and beyond. And at this point, it is no longer just about the film. New accusations are surfacing. Actor Derek Dixon recently stepped forward with serious claims, alleging that Tyler Perry exploited his position in the industry, and suddenly, the conversation has shifted from creative choices to personal accountability. The lawsuit accuses Tyler Perry of using his industry power to create what has been described as a coercive and exploitative environment. Actor Derek Dixon claims he first met Perry in 2019 at Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta, filled with hope for a breakthrough in his acting career. According to Dixon, Perry offered promises of stardom, mentorship, and opportunities, but allegedly with troubling strings attached. The lawsuit paints a disturbing picture. Perry allegedly cornered Dixon against a trailer wall, touched him inappropriately, and pressed him with invasive questions about his sexuality on the set of The Oval. Things took a darker turn when Dixon reportedly refused to engage. He claims Perry began making threats, making it clear that if he did not respond to the advances or play along with the suggestive behavior, his character would be written off. That warning became reality. Dixon's character was soon removed from the show, choosing his mental and emotional well-being over exposure. Dixon left the series and declined an opportunity to write for Perry's projects, saying it was the only way to safeguard his peace. Perry's legal team has firmly denied all allegations, calling the lawsuit a fabricated attempt at extortion. They claim Dixon's actions were part of a calculated move to get close to Tyler Perry, suggesting this entire case is nothing more than a money grab disguised as justice. This goes beyond a simple shakedown. Tyler Perry, according to his legal team, refuses to be extorted. But this is not the first time his behavior behind the scenes has raised eyebrows. Over the years, several actors who have worked under him have spoken up about the tense atmosphere on his sets. They claim that Perry often uses his authority to pressure cast members into compliance, regardless of how chaotic things get. One recurring complaint is his tendency to change direction at the drop of a hat, whether it is rewriting dialogue or scrapping entire scenes on the fly. Actors are expected to keep up without question. We basically rehearsed the whole episode for him, one actor recalled, and he still gets frustrated with it. When asked what that means for the performers, the answer was clear. Yes, it means you have to memorize an entirely new script right now. In Tyler Perry's world, flexibility is not optional, it is demanded. On set, Tyler Perry reportedly takes full, creative control, so much so that he sometimes rewrites entire scripts on the spot, feeding lines to actors in real time. One actor described the pressure vividly. While Perry was directing him line by line, the actual director stood off to the side, silently warning him to obey or risk being fired. And this is not just speculation. Perry himself has admitted to being highly controlling when it comes to his projects. He once explained that if there is ever a disagreement about how a scene should unfold, he lets both visions play out, but always ends up choosing his own. Why? Because he controls the final cut in the editing room. We'll try it your way, then we'll try mine, he said, but mine always wins. That power over post-production ensures that his And as Taraji P. Henson recently pointed out, that level of control is exactly what defines how Perry's storytelling is executed from beginning to end. Tyler Perry controls nearly every corner of his productions, from writing and directing to producing and editing. Some are starting to wonder if he is operating more like a one-man film studio or a dictator with Final Cut Pro. And actor Derek Dixon is not the only one raising concerns. Christian Key, another actor who worked under Perry, shared his own experience, saying he was grateful not for the opportunity, but for the lesson in how not to treat people when you are in charge. You do not harass your team, he said. You do not pressure, intimidate, or bully people into giving you what you want. Critics argue that this heavy-handed approach is exactly why Perry's stories continue to feel recycled and emotionally exhausting. There is little space for new perspectives, diverse storytelling, or genuine input from Black women. Instead, viewers are given a repeated pattern of trauma narrative blueprint that centers pain and keeps it on loop. So even as serious allegations, accusations of emotional manipulation, and artistic concerns swirl around him, one question remains loud and clear. How long can this formula hold up? Despite lawsuits, critiques about misogynistic storytelling, and even accusations that he blackballed respected names like Monique, Taraji P. Henson continues to promote Straw with full support, as if none of that controversy exists. On The Breakfast Club, she even shared that Tyler Perry doubled her pay for the film, adding, "Every raise I have received and every time I have felt truly valued in this industry, it has always been because of him." This is the same Taraji, who once publicly vented her frustration over constantly being underpaid, saying, "I am tired of working this hard, being excellent at what I do, and only earning a fraction of what I deserve, and I keep hearing the same from other Black women in the industry." That makes this all the more complex. On one hand, Perry compensates Taraji fairly in an industry that still resists paying Black women what they are worth. On the other hand, even she admits these emotionally heavy roles leave her drained. Reflecting on one of the filming days, she confessed, "By the fourth day, I was like, oh, my God, I have to go through this all over again. It is not easy," Taraji admitted. "Portraying a character's pain means I have to tap into my own. And even though it can be healing, reopening those emotional wounds is never comfortable." While she continues to stand behind Tyler Perry's mission to amplify unheard voices, many Black women are now raising a critical question: at what emotional cost? Because, truth be told, not every Black woman is out here struggling. In fact, more and more are flourishing, living in joy, abundance, and healing. And someone needs to finally say it to Tyler Perry. Black women are no longer trapped in pain. This constant portrayal of suffering has overstayed its welcome. The truth is, Black women today are embracing rest, luxury, therapy, softness, and self-worth. Their lives are evolving and the stories told about them should evolve too. The time has come for representation to reflect reality, not outdated trauma. Here is the real problem: when the only version of Black women constantly shown on screen is broken, bitter, and burdened, it starts to shape how people see them in real life. And for young Black girls watching these films, it cuts even deeper. Imagine growing up and only seeing yourself reflected through trauma, heartbreak, and endless struggle. That kind of messaging teaches them something dangerous: that their value is tied to how much pain they can endure. And the issue does not stop there. As another critic pointed out, Tyler Perry's female characters only seem to find peace or redemption once a blue-collar man enters to save them. Over and over, the storyline looks the same. A hardworking, emotionally wounded Black woman, often a survivor of abuse, is finally rescued by a humble man with limited means. It is starting to feel like Perry can only imagine Black women in one way, and honestly, the narrative is tired. The stereotype has even been mocked in shows like The Boondocks. "I know I'm just a broke light-skinned gardener with no shirt, but I love Jesus. And I love you." And the woman, tears in her eyes, responds, "Oh Lord, thank you Jesus. I never thought I'd end up with a man so loving and so light-skinned." While it is played for laughs, the truth behind it is unsettling. Critics say this trope is not just tired, it is harmful, and it needs to end for good. These recycled storylines are partly why negative assumptions about Black women continue to spread globally. The media plays a huge role in shaping how Black women are viewed. Just celebrities like Beyonce, Oprah, or Kerry Washington, but regular, everyday Black women. And those portrayals matter deeply. When the same limited image is repeated again and again, it impacts how the world sees them, and even how they begin to see themselves. It is dangerous to keep portraying Black people really win. Such lowbrow, oversimplified ways. Say it louder for the people in the back. Black Twitter has been relentlessly calling Tyler Perry out, with comments like, "The black community is in a toxic relationship with Tyler Perry, let him go." Over on Reddit, the conversation is just as heated. One user wrote, "As a black man, I feel like Tyler Perry's films are walking stereotypes. They lack depth, and they only appeal if you are into that surface level stuff." Another critic did not hold back, calling Perry's new show an embarrassment to black folks everywhere. While it might aim for humor, they said, it comes at a cost, mocking blackness for a few cheap laughs. But here is where things get even more revealing. Tyler Perry often gives redemption arcs to his male characters. The abusive husband, he gets replaced by a kind-hearted man, and somehow, his story still ends up getting closure. We always see the loving, hard-working man step in to save the day. But where is the redemption for the black woman? Where is her happiness without having to first survive unimaginable pain? This time, people are not letting Tyler Perry off easy. The message is ringing loud and clear. His version of the strong black woman is not a tribute to resilience. It feels more like a form of dehumanization, as if a black woman is only real when she is constantly struggling, constantly suffering, and always carrying the weight of the world. While Taraji continues to publicly support him, the conversation on the ground is much different. People are demanding to know, why is Tyler Perry so fixated on black women's pain? And when will he start telling stories where they actually thrive? And if anyone seems especially baffled by Taraji's loyalty, is Monique. That tension runs deep, stretching back over a decade, and honestly, it is messier than a surprise paternity reveal on Facebook. What is that black power tied to? What kind of integrity stands behind it? Monique did not mince words. She insists she was never blackballed, but rather whiteballed, calling out the system she believes punished her for not playing along. According to her, Tyler Perry blacklisted her after she declined to do unpaid international press. Poor Precious. She claims that along with Oprah and Lee Daniels, Perry helped push the narrative that she was difficult to work with, an accusation that, in her words, ended up costing her family tens of millions of dollars. In a powerful moment, on Club Shay Shay, Monique told Shannon Sharp, "No, Shannon, this lie, this rumor cost my family tens of millions." And when Sharp pressed her about whether Perry would ever take responsibility, she turned straight to the camera. "Tyler, you heard what that man said. Will you come on Club Shay and answer for it? Will you compensate my family for the damage done?" Her call-out was direct, raw, and echoed the frustration of years spent fighting a battle she says should never have happened. When the conversation shifted toward fair treatment and whether Tyler Perry had ever offered an apology, Monique did not hesitate. Only Lee Daniels had apologized, she said. Then came the jaw-dropping Empire reveal. Not many know this, but Monique was originally chosen to play the iconic role of Cookie. Yes, Lee Daniels personally called her not once, but twice. First to offer her the part, then again to take it back. Taraji P. Henson became iconic as Cookie on Empire, but few know Monique was the original choice. According to Monique, director Lee Daniels personally called to offer her the role, then called again to take it back. While Monique praised Taraji's performance, the experience left her wounded. She was labeled difficult, a reputation that quietly spread throughout the industry. Monique believes Tyler Perry played a part behind the scenes, especially after audio surfaced of someone warning filmmaker David Talbert about her alleged reputation. Now, with Tyler Perry facing serious sexual assault allegations from Derek Dixon, who claims Perry assaulted him in 2021, many are surprised to see Taraji publicly stand by Perry. To Monique, this only confirms what she has long feared, that power and loyalty often protect those accused of harm, while silencing those who speak out. What hurt most was seeing another black woman, someone she respected, praise a man she believes contributed to her professional downfall. Monique did not hold back. She posted on Instagram, "Even if you're offended, so what? You can't beat me." Her message was clear. She would not be silenced. She followed it up with a statement about how women who speak up are often branded bitter or toxic, calling out an industry that punishes women for demanding respect. Tyler Perry responded to growing criticism by defending his storytelling, saying his films reflect the strength and struggle of black women, inspired by the women who raised him. But many argue his films recycle the same harmful pattern. Black women endure immense suffering before finding love or redemption. Critics call it trauma porn, not tribute. Perry's now infamous quote that, "If a man consider it lovingly, added fuel to the fire. Taraji defends Perry as someone who values her and pays her worth. Yet she also claims she avoids anyone not aligned with healing. This contradiction raises tough questions. Why align with someone accused of serious misconduct? Is financial support worth emotional compromise? As more voices echo Monique's concerns, the public is reevaluating Perry's legacy. Has he uplifted black women or built his empire off their pain? And is Taraji still inspired by his vision, or just loyal to the last man writing her a check? The conversation is far from over. Taraji P. Henson became iconic as Cookie on Empire. But few know Monique was the original choice. According to Monique, director Lee Daniels personally called to offer her the role, then called again to take it back. While Monique praised Taraji's performance, the experience left her wounded. She was labeled difficult, a reputation that quietly spread throughout the industry. Monique believes Tyler Perry played a part behind the scenes, especially after audio surfaced of someone warning filmmaker David Talbert about her alleged reputation. Now, with Tyler Perry facing serious sexual assault allegations from Derek Dixon, who claims Perry assaulted him in 2021, many are surprised to see Taraji publicly stand by Perry. To Monique, this only confirms what she has long feared, that power and loyalty often protect those accused of harm, while silencing those who speak out. What hurt most was seeing another black woman, someone she respected, praise a man she believes contributed to her professional downfall. Monique did not hold back. She posted on Instagram, "Even if you're offended, so what? You can't beat me." Her message was clear. She would not be silenced. She followed it up with a statement about how women who speak up are often branded bitter or toxic, calling out an industry that punishes women for demanding respect. Tyler Perry responded to growing criticism by defending his storytelling, saying his films reflect the strength and struggle of black women, inspired by the women who raised him. But many argue his films recycle the same harmful pattern. Black women endure immense suffering before finding love or redemption. Critics call it trauma porn, not tribute. Perry's now infamous quote that if a man pays the light bill, a woman should consider it love only added fuel to the fire. Taraji defends Perry as someone who values her and pays her